Backlogs. Whether it's anime, gaming, or even watched later on YouTube, unless you're the chosen one, once you put something in the backlog, it'll probably stay there forever like a force of nature. Each and every one of us probably has an anime or two that we've put on hold, telling ourselves that we'll watch it someday, and I've just got one thing to say to you.
Stop it. Get some help.
However, in the case of anime, I feel that it's even more difficult to put a dent into your backlog, especially in recent years, thanks to season after season bringing us a truckload of anime, more than we can handle. This season alone, which is winter 2023 if you're watching this in the future, has more than 50 shows airing. And even after filtering what you want to watch, it's probably still too much, and that's not even taking into account the finished shows you've put on hold. Now, I'm going to go into some of the shows in my backlog and tell you the reason why it's on there, whether I've actually started it and put it on hold or never actually got around to seeing it, and see if you guys have ever gone through something similar. And if that's the case, then tell me down in the comments below, because I've got a feeling that we might have a few common anime in our backlog. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the never-ending abyss of the backlog. First, let's start with the shows I've actually wanted to watch, but never actually got around to it. You'll find that most of these shows have one thing in common. They're old. The first one on my list, and probably on most of your lists unless you're an OG otaku, is The Legend of the Galactic Heroes. One of the most legendary anime that every anime fan probably heard of, but never watched. Now, I don't know what everyone's reasons are for not watching it, but for me, it's because I've built it up way too much in my mind that I'm afraid of watching it. Well, that's the reason I tell people anyway, but that's not the truth. The actual reason I haven't watched it is because it's too old. It started back in 1988, 9 years before I was born. And I know that in recent years a remake came out, but to that, I just have one thing to say. Shut up! Stop ruining the video! The Legend of the Galactic Heroes is one of the anime that I plan to watch and will probably stay that way. You can also put in Berserk and Monster with it too, even though now that they're on Netflix, they'll probably be removed from the backlog soon, and who knows, I might actually make a video on them. Another anime that I've never watched, but for different reasons, is Ranma 1/2. Unlike The Legend of the Galactic Heroes, the reason I've never watched Ranma is because I just haven't found where I could actually watch it. Yes, I know that it's a lame excuse, but it's actually the truth, and if you guys know where I could watch it, then let me know down below. You'd be doing me a solid. And back Mongolian Shop Squad and Natsume's Book of Friends too, please. Thanks. Now those were the shows that I haven't started yet. But what about anime I've started and just suddenly stopped? Well, unfortunately, Made in Abyss falls under that category for me. Now don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of Made in Abyss. Well, fake fan by the looks of it, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm actually a fan, and after finishing season 1 back in the day, I kept waiting and waiting for season 2, but thanks to the wait, it kind of slipped my mind to actually watch it, and now, it's got a comfy room in my backlog. However, it pales in comparison to the next anime. This next show is very beloved by its fans, and I've actually tried to get into it a bunch of times, but I just can't, and that anime is, drumroll please, Jojo. I've kept trying to watch Jojo over and over again for the longest time, thanks to how much its fans love it and the Jojo references, and I've actually watched part 1 and 2, and a little bit of part 3, Stardust Crusaders, but every time, I just drop it somewhere. It took me 3 tries to get past part 1, which by the way, I thought it was one of the most boring experiences I've ever had watching anime, but part 2 and 3 were actually somewhat entertaining, but for some reason that I can't explain, because I myself don't know why, I just stopped, and now, it's Jojo posing in my backlog, but hopefully not for long. I actually want to continue Jojo, and that's due to one reason.
このジョルノ・ジョバーナには夢がある。
I just want to reach Giorno and his team, and who knows, I might actually get the hype and become a Jojo simp during my journey. Those are just some anime in my backlog, and even if I start to only watch shows in the backlog, it probably won't even put a dent in it. More anime enter than those that leave the list, and it's pretty easy to see why. The number of anime that come out each season is getting ridiculous, and a lot of them were surprisingly bangers. The last couple of years were actually some of the best in anime, especially 2022, and it's very hard to watch every single good anime. So, with no fault of our own, some shows just get stuck in the backlog, and when you actually plan to sit down and watch it, you find yourself suddenly not in the mood. Trust me, it happened to me a bunch of times, where I actually put a show on and then just a minute later, I turn it off and tell myself not now, another time, and after years and years, its time just never comes. It even happens with shows that leave a good first impression on me, like The Fire Hunter this season, but I just never find myself in the mood to actually watch it. Now, I might seem like a casual after this video, and that's probably true, but I'm sure that each and every one of us have a couple of shows that make you act the same way, and I'd love to know what they are. So let me know down in the comments below, and if you like the video, then why not like and subscribe, and don't leave me in your backlog, please? Well, this has been Enio, and until next time, matane.